Coming up this week. So today I'm going to do one of those comparison films that I sometimes do. 3 guitars that I've reviewed in some detail just recently. I'm going to look at the similarities and some of the differences. And we're going to have a play, a good old play. It might be good, you never know. I'm not saying the guitar looks silly. I've opened a can of worms, haven't I? Maybe wait till the end to comment. Yeah. I wonder which one I prefer. Hello, thanks for joining us. Welcome to the Guitaristas. So today I'm going to do one of those comparison films that I sometimes do. I've got 3 guitars here. 3 guitars that I've reviewed in some detail just recently, and they're all centre block guitars, semi-acoustic guitars, whatever you like to call them. Starts here, doesn't it? The Epiphone, the ES335, available today in the UK for £449. That's less than I paid for it a few weeks ago. Yeah, they're going down at the moment. Deals to be had. In the US, I see this on Sweetwater website, $599. And then the baby brother, the ES339, £429 today. Again, they're going down. That's less than I paid for this. 429 English pounds or 549. Sorry, I have to keep a look at my notes. I can't remember all this. $549. The Sheraton 2 Pro. This ebony one seems to be on pre-order now in the UK, £625. This one's going up. But you can get a vintage Sunburst a version of this for £529. That's a good deal. And in the US, $749. Not such a good deal for you guys, unfortunately. And these 3 guitars that you might be considering buying. Or one of them, you know, not all 3 of them probably, but you might be thinking, oh, I quite fancy an ES335, but maybe the 339 would suit me better. Or maybe the Sheraton 2 Pro. That's what we've got here, those 3 models. And what I'm hoping to do today is, well, demystify the differences. Demystify the differences, I know where that came from. I'm going to look at the similarities and some of the differences, and we're going to have a play, a good old play. It might be good, you never know, but we're going to have a play of all of them side by side so you can hear what they sound like compared to each other through the same rig and stuff. So, yeah, and that might help, mightn't it? And we'll go into some nerdy detail. As I said, all 3 have been reviewed on the channel, so links to the individual reviews in the description box. So if you want to get a little bit deeper into any of these 3 than we do today, that's where you'll find that info. And don't forget, this isn't TikTok, so we will be taking our time having a look and listen to these guitars. So if you're in a bit of a hurry, timestamps are in the description box. So skip forward and you can cut out a lot of the waffle if you need to. If you've got a bit of time on your hands, you know what to do. Go and put the kettle on, get a cup of tea or a beverage of your choice and maybe a snack, and come back and chill out for a bit. Let's get stuck in. So let's start with, well, how they're made, I suppose. Fundamentally, they're made the same way. They're all made of layered maple. So the top, back and sides of these guitars is all layered maple. And they've all got a maple centre block in. The centre blocks are a little bit different. The 339 and the Sheraton have got more substantial centre blocks than the 335. I'm just going to drop in a couple of shots from the reviews here so you can see what I'm talking about straight away. There's a neck tenon, goes down to there. It's proper solid, no holes there. There's just a tiny little hole there. The same here. It's all, you can see, yeah, it's just solid. Solid, solid, solid. And there's no hole. There's a little hole. Not even, it's not, that's how big. I can just jam my little pinky in there The centre block is real solid. All look, yeah, you can feel there's no holes there. There's a little channel there, fully blocked up. There's a tiny hole there, just enough room to get your finger through. Let me show you. There you go. I don't know if I'd fancy my chances threading pots through that. It doesn't look big enough, to be honest with you. So this is the solid block. You can see the neck tenon there. And yeah, that's what that looks like. There's obviously just a channel there. So that's all solid. All solid there. That's the big old access hole. That's big, that. The 339 and the Sheraton, they look pretty solid and robust, whereas the 335, it kind of stops before the bridge pickup, and there's a little bit more room in there. There's certainly a big old access hole so you can get the pots in and out, and it looks more like bracing underneath rather than the solid block. So that's slightly different. I'm guessing that might affect the weight. So let's actually look at the weights now. The 339, £7 6 ounces. The 335, only a little bit heavier, £7 9 ounces. So I'm guessing that's the trade-off between smaller versus, yeah, there's more wood in the middle of the 339. So that's how that plays out. Anyway, 335 weighs just 3 ounces more than the 339. The Sheraton, however, comes in at £8 14 ounces, so a fair old bit heavier. I suppose there's some extra stuff going on with the Sheraton. I mean, you know, you can see straight away. It's got more heft to it. That's really funny. I'm sorry, that's just reminded me of a comment that I had on one of my, I think I was reviewing the Sire L7, the L7, yeah, the Larry Paul that I called it. On that review, I said it was a hefty guitar, because it is. Well, that one was anyway. And someone commented that I was hefty. Yeah, fair enough. That's because I sit on my arse all day making films for you. Funny though. Back to this. Yeah, there's more heft to this. Headstock bigger, isn't it? It's got I suppose the more vintagey Sheraton headstock with the Tree of Life. It's got Grover tuners on this as opposed to the Epiphone Deluxe style that you see on these two. What else would make it heavier? I mean, those in themselves, I mean, Grover tuners are not light. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Heftier. Actually, that takes us on to the necks, which are also different. A big difference, in fact, is the ESs. The ESs are both made of mahogany, as far as I can tell. Pretty certain they're both mahogany. The Sheraton's very different. The Sheraton neck is made out of layered maple and walnut, 5-piece layered along I can't do this without bashing the other guitars. That way, like a Firebird's made. Does that mean anything to you? Here's an image of what I mean of a natural version of the Sheraton. You can't see it on this one because it's ebony, but it's layered. And so that might be heavier, that kind of timber. Walnut and maple might be heavier than mahogany, so that might make a difference. Now, I'll put the neck profiles and measurements up on the screen now so you can see there's not a lot in it between the 335 and the 339. They're both, as far as I can tell, a rounded C profile. The Sheraton, yeah, is slimmer and it's a little bit flatter. I think it shows mainly up at the 12th fret. Yeah, flatter. Yeah, it's about a mil flatter up at the 12th fret, isn't it? So that's another difference between these. it feels slimmer on the Sheraton. Whether or not that's a big enough difference to influence a buying decision, I'm not sure. I suppose rounded does feel nicer in the hand a lot of the time, but I wouldn't say, oh yeah, I would say you can feel the flatter profile of the Sheraton. Now the two ESs are fundamentally the same, although obviously the 339 is smaller, but I've just got that out of the way for a minute so I can show you the difference in, or visually. Look, you can see that on that overhead camera, certainly. This is the blinged up version, isn't it? The Sheraton 2 Pro is a blinged up version. It's got this beautiful binding all the way around it. All the way around it, and even in, I'm going to show you that, under the frets there, it's got 1, 2, 5 ply binding all the way round, down the neck, round the guitar. Single, oh no, look, what's that? 3, can you see that? Must make sure that you can see what on earth I'm talking about. Yeah. Anyway, really posh binding all the way around, and in the F holes on the Sheraton 2 Pro, and it's just got paint in the F holes of the ESs. So it's really nice. Coil splits as well as Sheraton 2 Pro. I'm not going to get into that today. Look at the individual review if you want to find out a little bit more about them. Different shaped scratch plate, obviously, and the different headstock, which I mentioned earlier. This has got the Tree of Life headstock. Now let's talk about the pickups. Both the 335 and the 339 have got Alnico Classic Pro pickups in both positions. And the Sheraton has got a Pro Bucker 2 in the neck and a Pro Bucker 3 in the bridge. Here are the readings on the screen. You can see obviously the ESs are almost identical, and slightly higher readings for the Pro Buckers in the Sheraton. So let's start listening to these things now, and then we can come back and comment on how we like these pickups, I suppose, how well suited they are to the guitars. Yeah, let's do that. Let's listen to them unplugged first. Can hear the differences. You can definitely feel the difference as well when you pick this up. It's like it's shrunk. Yeah, it's noticeable. So I plugged in to the Princeton 65, the Tweed, with the 12-inch Cannabis Rex speaker. The signal chain's always in the description box, by the way, so if I don't mention it, always worth checking there. I normally update it. On the board today, I have got the Soul Food, and I'll show you if I use it via Crocs cam, and the Rat as well. I don't know if I'm going to use those at all today. The plan is to kind of show you what the guitars sound like through this rig without pedals, and as someone pointed out last week, I think, reviewing guitars with pedals is useless. Okay, I don't think it's useless, is it? But, you know, I understand what you're saying. Right, so, plugged in. I'm going to try and do the same on each one. It's a lot harder than it sounds, but we'll try. Here we go. Getting a bit bored with that, so I thought I'd go freestyle for a minute. In the middle positions. There you go. Some stuff, really. It was all right. You know, honestly, the pressure of trying to demonstrate 3 guitars, the pressure of trying to do something interesting, and bear in mind, oh yeah, you want to hear the pickups in all positions, clean, no pedals. And yeah, and I forgot the neck pickup. Somehow I managed to miss out the neck pickup on the 339 in that bit. Don't worry, there's more playing at the end. In fact, there's a load of playing at the end of this film. I've had a mega wig out jam on these today. It was all right. It's so yeah, some more playing coming up. And I do use the pedals later as well. I couldn't resist. Sorry, I know it's useless, but I've used them anyway. So that's coming up. There's loads of stuff to get through yet before you get to that. Well, you heard it. You heard them all, mostly in all positions, with your own ears. I'm going to talk about what I heard, what I can hear in the room. Obviously, you know, at home you're not getting much of the room. You're getting a close mic amp with a tiny bit of room on this mic. Only a tiny bit. It's almost indistinguishable. So what I'm hearing in the room, obviously there's less difference than acoustic. Acoustically, you could really hear a difference, couldn't you? But obviously through the pickups, it's less noticeable. But there's a noticeable difference. So I'm going to tell you what I think I can hear. I think I can hear a kind of a more of a fuller range from the 335 here. It's got a nice kind of wide range to it, to my ears. The Sheraton is definitely more hefty. Yeah, hefty. Yeah, I wrote some notes. What's the word I can use? Hefty. It's a hefty guitar. It's a bit fatter. It's more, sounds a little bit more compressed. Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm saying. And that could definitely have something to do with the pickups, because the pickups are different, aren't they, on the Sheraton? They're the Probuckers. And the readings were slightly higher, so maybe we could describe them as hotter. Maybe they're pushing the amp a little bit more, but definitely sounds a little bit heftier. The 339, clean, you know, it's got, I think it sounds slightly less interesting maybe than the 335. Dare I say? You know, I'm no expert on this stuff. What I would say is there's not a massive difference. I mean, all of these guitars do pretty much the same thing. I do think the Sheraton stands out as being a bit different. That's probably the best way to describe it, isn't it? A bit different, you know, better or worse. You know, you decide. You make up your mind. Which do you prefer? And don't forget, we'll add drive to the mix later on. Okay, so maybe wait till the end to comment. Yeah. What else? What else do I think? What else do I think? Really, the thing that I'm going to say that stood out is, well, there's two things that stood out actually. Firstly, I'll say that the necks, I noticed the difference on the Sheraton. I suppose this is the thing about playing when you're demoing, when you're playing one guitar, you quickly get used to the feel of the guitar and the neck and everything about it. Pretty quickly adjust to. Well, you do. I mean, I play different guitars all the time, and you quickly adjust to what you're playing, and it becomes normal very quickly. When you're doing what I've done today, which is picking up 3 guitars in fairly quick rotation, you notice the differences straight away. And I suppose you notice your preferences straight away. And I definitely preferred the necks on these two, the ESs, than I did on the Sheraton. Immediately, that was my immediate feeling. It felt, oh, that's different. These felt normal. They felt good. That felt, oh, I need to adjust to that. The other main thing, the 339, you really notice the difference in size. When you go from one of the others to that, it's, oh, all of a sudden you're down there, and it takes a bit of adjustment. And I've got to say, I looked at the playback and I thought I looked a bit silly playing it. I'm not saying the guitar looks silly or is silly, but I definitely looked silly playing it. I thought, yeah, I don't think it reminded me a little bit of those Epiphone power players from a while back, you know, the little mini-me SGs and Les Pauls. It's like a mini-me 335. It's, yeah, it's probably not for me, the 339. Now I've seen myself playing it. It does sound good. It does sound good. I'm not knocking that. It does It does sound different. I do think it sounds different. I think they all sound different, which is, you know, less so plugged in than they do. Yeah, I would say less so plugged in than they do unplugged. I think unplugged, you can really hear the wood and the characteristics of, you know, how they're made. Plugged in, I do think you can hear the difference between the 335 and the 339. I think the 335 sounds more like a semi-acoustic, really. It's got a wider range. And you can hear less of the body of the guitar on the 339. Does that make sense? I hope so. They're the same pickups, these, obviously, Alnico Classic Pros. But I think you can hear a difference, which debunks that suggestion that once you plug a guitar in, nothing matters because it's just the pickups. I've opened a can of worms, haven't I? Anyway, I wonder which one I prefer. Can you guess which one I prefer out of these three? I'm going to tell you in a bit, okay? Before I tell you that, that'll be the big reveal, okay, at the end of this film. But first, I'm gonna drop another little film in for you. This is my new format where we've got something else coming up. So this week, to confound the YouTube algorithm and make this film really long, I thought I'd share with you an episode of The Strummer Project. Now, this is part of a series that I made exclusively, until now, for the TV channel, theguitaristas.vhx.tv. So this is part of a series, gives you a little bit of a taster of what's going on over there, and saved me having to make something original for this week, really. So check this out. It's about 15 minutes long, this, so I hope you enjoy it. We'll be back after this, and we'll wrap up this comparison. And I'll tell you which of these guitars I prefer. Can you guess which it is? Stick around and find out. See you in a minute. Hello everyone, good to see you. Another little unboxing for you today. Some stuff's arrived this week that I've been looking forward to be honest with you. So I thought I'd open these boxes with you so that we can find out together what's inside. The shapes may be a little bit of a giveaway. Can you guess? What could that be? What on earth could that be? Should we open them and find out? I've been looking forward to this one. It's been, let me just put that one aside for a second. Yeah, still put it in shot, so it's a kind of a little teasing shot. That one's waiting. Let's get stuck into this one first. Some of you will have guessed what this is already if you saw the film I did a little while back. Has the penny dropped? I've seen pictures of it. He sent me pictures, but look at all that. We have a pick guard or scratch plate. Looks like it's been relic there already. That's where the, yeah. Ooh. Can smell the paint. Nitrocellulose, I believe. Oh, man. Right, speed this up. Ta-ta! Here it is. Remember? Handmade by a gentleman I found on eBay, and we made a film about 2 months ago. Remember when I bought it? It's in the bonus content section if you haven't seen that yet. Look at that. It's kind of nice weight. I'm not sure what a body should weigh without all the other parts, but this feels Don't know what that feels, probably it feels around about £6, something like that. That's pretty good. I'm going to measure, weigh. No, that's what I did there. That was mixing weigh and measure up, and you get a measure. So I'm going to measure that just now. Here we go. Oh, okay, I'm way out. That measures £4 14 ounces, or 2.22 kilos. I think that's good. I was worried that that was going to be heavy because I didn't have that conversation with the maker about weights at all. So as far as I can remember, this is Alder. It looks nice. I'm pretty happy with that. Pretty happy with that. Cool. Right, so let's put that to one side. That's the scratch plate, obviously. Incidentally. Oh, hang on. Let's just, before we do that. So, no holes drilled, so if I want to put another one on, I can. And as you'll notice, proper Esquire, so there's no routing for a neck pickup. I specifically asked for that because I wanted it to be as authentic as possible. There you go. Cool, isn't it? Right, let's put that to one side. And delve into this one. Ta-da! That fooled you, didn't you? You thought it was just the neck, didn't you? No, I bought a load of parts for this, clearly, from, in the UK, a company called Axecaster. Big long list of parts, sort of one night. So I'm going, well, I'll need some bits for me Bourbon Street telly project. I was looking at necks, and I came across this company online. I'll put a link in the description box so you can have a look. They do all, they started off with necks. They got loads of different necks. They're Fender licensed necks. Well, shall I open it and show you, and we can talk at the same time? Let me do that actually. Let me just show you what I'm talking about as I'm talking about it. So the first thing I needed, you can get that out and leave all those parts attached. Yeah. There you go. Look at that. The first thing I needed was a neck, and you know, they can be quite expensive, can't they? I'm just looking at like £300-400 for a neck, and I thought I'm not having that. It's just kind of, I don't want to spend loads of money on it. So I came across this, and it's an all parts neck, which is a Fender licensed, fairly cheap. I think they're fairly cheap in the scheme of things. Fender licensed necks. There you go, all parts, replacement for Fender or Squier by Fender. They're licensed and they're authentic. So I bought this, and I thought, well, that'll do the job. And I'm sure it will. It's 7¼ inch radius, you know, it's got a V to it actually. Yeah, I remember. They have a few different profiles, and I chose this one, and it weren't expensive. It was about 100, I'll tell you exactly how much it was because I've got the price list here. It was £155 including tax, which I thought was okay because, you know, there was a lot of them were advertised for a lot more than that. So, and it's an authentic one in that it's Fender licensed. I wonder if it fits in the neck pocket. We'll save that. We'll save that for the next film, for when I start building it, because that might be the first problem, mightn't it? So yeah, let's not find out today. Stay tuned for more news on whether or not it fits. Right, so that's cool. I can see that yeah, they'll need finishing a little bit rough on the edges, but I suppose that's to be expected. Do you know, look, I don't know because I've never built a guitar from scratch before. Okay, so that's the point of this it's going to be part of a series, this. We're going to build this here on the TV channel. It's going to be an exclusive extra series here on the TV channel. So please feel free along the journey, yeah, it's going to be a journey, to chime in, because I know a lot of you have built many guitars from scratch. So yeah, if you've got any tips and advice along the way, feel free to interfere and tell me stuff like this. Is this just a cheap neck and that's why it's sharp? Would I expect to be finished, or do I need to, you know, well, I am going to need to do a little bit of finishing on the end there, that's for sure. Okay, that's that. And then of course I've got all these other parts, which I won't go through them in too much detail because that'd be a bit dull. For now, we'll obviously go through them in detail when we start making the thing. But yeah, I spent some time thinking, what am I going to need? So I was just like pressing add to basket. So I've got a nut there, bone nut, neck screws. I think we've got string ferrules, scratch plate screws, bridge screws. We've got a 3-way switch, blade switch. Can you see how much damage I would do if this knife was sharp? We've got the jack socket and the insert, and I bought one of those screw-in inserts for this. Couple of pots, and I bought a variety of pots for some reason. I can't remember why it was. They're both short reach. That's weird. I can't remember why. I bought 2 lots because I wasn't sure which I would need. I don't think they're long reach, but they might be. I might have bought long reach and short reach. Or, I can't remember. Let me have a look and see on my list. What did I buy? Okay, what I bought is I bought both 250k and 500k pots, and they're both solid shaft for the knobs that are there, I can see. What I don't know why, obviously you can see, I'm going into too much detail already, aren't I? The shaft's longer on on a couple of them than the others. But anyway, I'm sure we can get around that. Too much detail. I might cut that bit out. Knobs, proper knurled telly knobs. What's in this? It's a bit like Christmas, this. Especially, I mean, I wasn't drunk or anything, but you know, it's late night and you're on a roll and you think, yeah, because all these parts are like a few quid, you know, it's not like you have to think about it. Like the, you know, pots, I'm going back to the pots already. You know, they're £5 each. So you think, well, I'll get 250k and 500k so I can experiment. Because for the sake of a tenner, add to basket. What's this? Oh, I know, obviously. What you've got here is a control plate and a neck plate. So that's, I'll check this all off properly later to see if there's anything that I've missed. But let's get that out of the way. So there's a lot of bits that will fit. There's a few bits missing because I had already looked in my box previously and worked out what I already had. I had, for some reason, a genuine Fender ashtray bridge with the brass saddles that look like they've been played, and I can't remember why I've got that. I think at some point I might have had a Squire and changed and bought this to change it for an authentic Fender one. And maybe, and I'm not sure, but maybe when I sold it, I swapped it back. So I've got that. This is my favourite type, because, you know, I'm a vintage kind of guy, really. So I already had that. A Seymour Duncan quarter pounder for telly bridge. That would do, wouldn't it? That's something that I bought for projects a while back, and I've tried it on various things, and yeah, it's got quite a lot of output. It's a bit like P90 like that, so that should work nicely. Yeah, there you go. And yeah, I have got these Fender F-style, they're genuine F-style tuners. Now, I bought these as a replacement for the F-style tuners on my original 74 telly, just because I think one of them was a little bit stiff when I got it, so I thought, oh, I'll put those in the case and get some new ones. But when I tried them, the shafts are wider than the holes in the 74, and I weren't about to route out an original 70s telly headstock, so I didn't bother. I just left the other ones on. They work fine. So I'm fortunate enough to have these in my box of tricks, which will go on here. And I'm sure we're going to find out that we'll have to route out the holes of this. Yeah, definitely. So that'll be part of the fun. There you go. Let's put that back in there. So I think I might have all the parts that I need. I'm sure I won't have, but we'll find out together on the journey as we put this together. So I'll start that as soon as I can. You know, I'm trying to do every couple of weeks, trying to film a little extra. So we'll spread this out over. Well, I have no idea how long it's going to take, to be honest with you. So we'll spread it out for as long as it takes and do it in several episodes, which we'll call the Strummer Project, probably, because that's what I've just said. I don't know. I didn't even think about it. It just came out. I was going to say Bourbon Street Project, and then I said Strummer Project instead. So what I'll do is I'll go away and I'll think of a name for the project, and you'll find out. Probably in the thumbnail of this, or maybe not. I'm not sure. Look, you know what? You know this is all made up, don't you? So that's what we've got. That's what you got today. I hope that was interesting. Thanks for watching, and thanks for supporting the Guitaristas here on the TV channel. You know, it's massively appreciated, and it gives me encouragement to have a bit of a laugh and do stuff like this. So thanks again, guys. See you soon. Ta-ra. So there you go. That was episode 2, I think. 2 of 5 or 6. I can't remember. But check it out. You can check it out for 30 days free. There's the address for you. Go there, sign up, 30-day free trial. Won't cost you a penny. And then if you want to stick around after that, it's $50 for a full year's access, or $5 a month. And that supports this YouTube channel, basically. It keeps all of the advertising and sponsorship off of here. That's how, well, it's part of how I managed to be able to do this without accepting shills from people. Yeah, so if you want to support the Guitaristas, and well, the other thing is you can watch all of the YouTube stuff on there. There it is again, without any adverts. So, you know, $50, it might be money well spent, you know, if you don't want to buy all these products that keep interrupting your entertainment. I think that's what this is, isn't it? Entertainment. Anyway, check it out if you can. If you can afford it, please support me, and it'll be very much appreciated, I assure you. Right, back to the job in hand. Back to the important things, eh? These 3 guitars. So, which one do you think I prefer? Well, I got to tell you, I'm very surprised to say I prefer the 335. I never thought I would say that. I never thought I would say that. I thought it would be the Sheraton 2 Pro all day long. But, well, you know, I had a 335 before and I didn't like it much, and I spent a fair bit of money on it and I made it better, but I still didn't really vibe with it, so I've sold it. You know, it went to a better home. This one, I can't explain why, but I liked it from the minute I first played it. Something to do with the colour maybe, I don't know, it looks great, but it plays great and it sounds great. Not that the others don't, they do. They're all great. There's all great guitars. There's not a bad one here. The Sheraton 2, I really, you know, as you know, I'm a big fan. But the neck on the 335, and I think that the pickups, the Alnico Classics, are more. They sound. Okay, I did a comparison before in the Tokai film where we compared Alnico Classic Pros to Pro Buckers and some other stuff, Burst Buckers I think it was as well. And what I discovered in that was the Alnico Classic Pros are a little bit more, they've got more of a P90 voice to them, I think, and which may explain it. They've got a little bit more bite to them than the Pro Buckers. So as I said earlier, you know, and I think it does depend on what guitar they're in. You know, you can't say the pickups themselves make that difference. I think it depends where they are. I think these pickups in this guitar on this occasion work really well. And I'm loving the ES335. I enjoyed playing it more. I think it sounded better to my ears on this occasion in this room. You know, all of that's a bit meaningless to you sitting at home, but that's where I'm at. What about you? What do you think? Let me know. Please let me know. Have a listen. I had I don't know what happened here. I just carried on jamming and playing and I enjoyed myself. So this is what happened with these 3 guitars. That was this week's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think. Come back next week for more of the same old nonsense, if you like it. Thank you very much for indulging me. Once again, see you again, I hope, same time, same place, next week. Cheers for now. Ta-da.